Hey Krafty Friends, it's Jen from Katahdin Krafts and welcome back to the CottageCutz YouTube channel. The winner for my Mom's Day video is Vivian C. Vivian, you won this adorable Kangaroos die. I'll have all the information below on how you can collect that. For this video, CottageCutz is giving out this adorable cake shop die. In order to enter to win, you just need to comment and like below. Pretty easy peasy stuff to have the possibility of winning that adorable die. And speaking of the cake shop die, that is part of the new awesome sweet treats release, and that is what I'm using today for my A Sweet Hello mini slimline card. So I'm always talking about the details on these CottageCutz dies. Well, they have knocked it out of the ballpark with this one. There are so many little details that are absolutely amazing. First thing I do when making these detailed cards is to put double-sided sticky paper on my cardstock, and then I cut out all my pieces, and this holds them all together so you don't lose any of those little intricate dies. So the first thing I'm going to do is pop out that large section that is the house base or the cake shop base. And I wanted to make it look like it had some siding on it. So I used my T-square ruler and a pencil and marked down those lines. And then I'm going to use my Copic markers to go ahead and add some shading to make it look like those are some siding. And I just used my cool grays for this. And looking back, I wish that I did make this a little bit darker, but I had a vision in mind. We own a seasonal clam shop dairy bar, and I was kind of trying to make it look like that, and that is white with some siding on it. So that was my vision on this. And so I'm using C1 through C3, and then I'm going to go back with a C0 and just even that all out and blend that together. And then I have some siding on a white building is what I was going for. I did go ahead and color everything else off video. You can use any color scheme you want. There is endless possibilities with this card. And now is the fun part. It is time to build all these little details. It's like putting like a little puzzle together. It's just so soothing, I find. The tools that I like to use for this process are a pickup stick tool that has the pokey end that's very helpful, and also tweezers sometimes. And you can see how I have that sticky back on there, and that makes it a little bit easier sometimes without having to put the precision tip glue on it. But I'm not gonna lie, I do struggle on a few of the more delicate pieces. And I'm thinking to rectify that perhaps I need to put my die cut through twice to see if maybe it will cut through just a little bit more. But in order, some of those delicate pieces like the smokestack, you'll see later, I just go ahead and cut that back out on some cardstock that doesn't have that sticker back, and then I put that on, and that works perfectly fine as well. But at least I had all these little pieces together for myself as I was putting it, as I'm assembling my card, and I do find that that's helpful. So if you have a little bit of the edge that's not quite colored when you take off the sticker, you can go ahead and just put some more Copic marker on there and cover up that white edge. That's what I like to do. And I decided to put that triple layered cake in the middle because I liked that one the best. That was my favorite. And I did it chocolate with some strawberry frosting. And again, there's so many possibilities when you're building this. So many different colors. You can go bright, you can go pastel. Yeah, and I'm considering that. I think it's probably a muffin, but I was considering that a loaf of bread, that little piece I just put on. So I tried to make that look like a golden brown loaf of bread. And then we're going to put on my pie, and this is a lemon meringue pie is what I decided. So yes, I like to make little stories behind my cards often. If you've followed me along on my Katahdin Krafts YouTube channel, I often come up with little stories behind my scenes. But anyway, that is my lemon meringue pie today. I guess I was craving that, and yeah, doesn't that sound good? So assembling this was so much fun for me, like I said, and I just keep on thinking of all the possibilities with this die. I'm thinking that perhaps I could cut out several different cake shops and try to make like a little village with them. I think that we can assemble the doors in different spots. That would be really fun. And I'm also trying to figure out how I can make it look like a dairy bar. Of course, the Sweet Treats does have some ice cream um, dyes in this release. So I'm thinking that I really, really need to make it look like a dairy bar, like what we have here in Northern Maine, what my family has. And yeah, so that's just some of the other possibilities that were running through my mind as I was assembling this. I'd love to hear some of the ideas that you have in the comments below, either with different colors or different ideas for the cake shop. Anything that you'd like to say or mention below. And remember, if you comment and like, you do get entered to win this super cute die. So I'm going to finish adding the sign and then those cute little windows at the top. And then I'm going to set all of this aside right now and I'm going to start working on my background. Now I am making a mini slimline card today. So my back panel or my card panel is a 6x3. And I thought that that was a perfect size for this cute little shop. Now I'm going to use the stencil that I made with the cloud dies and build up my sky with tumbled glass. As many of you may know by now, that is my favorite sky color. And I'm just going to move that around and get different cloud coverings. And I'm going to pull out the other one. I made a couple different stencils with the CottageCutz Clouds die. And then I'm going to use a little mowed lawn for the bottom. And now I have my very simple background for this cute little card. Now that I have that background panel all ready to go, I can start adhering the actual shop right to the card panel. And then I can finish building up my little scene. I love the fact that they've even added these little planter pots for this die set. It really helps the scene. And even our dairy bar, we put out little pretty planters with all sorts of colorful flowers. So we've got the curbside appeal even in this little set to add to your scene. And it's just, again, all these details. Look at those little leaves that you add into them. That gives it some dimension and some color. It's absolutely stunning. I love it. I love the way that they design these. So much fun and cuteness all in one set. Amazing. It's around this time that I decided that I had to go ahead and cut out the bunting string and then the little smoke that comes out of the chimney and just cut those out of regular cardstock and glue those back on. As you can see here, that was just easier with that. The sticky stuff was just a little bit too much stick for those delicate pieces. And then I wanted to come up with my sentiment, so I cut out Sweet Hello from the shadow dies, and I used my Copic markers to coordinate those with the colors that I've already used on my little shop. So I used a purple and a pink to coordinate perfectly. And then I'm going to stick those together and stick those on the bottom for a sweet hello. And again, if there's any little white spots showing, I'm just going to take that Copic and carefully go in there and fix that up. And now I'm using a 01 micro pen and just tracing along the letters or the words that say the cake shop, and that works really well. And I'm going to use a white gel pen just to add a little bit of highlights and some more details to my card. As you can see here, I am not the best highlighter with this pen, but I try. And I do like adding just that little bit of extra dimension to my coloring. And to finish off my card, I'm going to add a few gems to each corner, some blue ones in the sky that coordinates well with that, and then some green ones in that little grassy area. And I'm going to do 3 in the upper corner and 3 in that opposite lower corner just to balance out the card, and that makes it look aesthetically pleasing to the eye. For my card base, I cut a 6x6 square and I scored that at the 3-inch mark, and I folded that in half, and then I added my card panel, and that finishes up our card for this week. Thank you so much for crafting with me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this die and set so much. The whole Sweet Treats release is absolutely fabulous. I love all of it, and it makes me want to eat cakes and ice creams and all that fun stuff. So I will see you again in a couple weeks. In the meantime, remember to comment and like below so you can have the chance of having this dye in your stash as well. Thanks again. Happy crafting.